Hello and welcome to another one of my map guides. In today's episode we're going to focus on Hainan Resort and look at the best ways of you attacking this map from both the Chinese and the US side, and from both in the attack boat and in infantry fighting vehicles or even the AA gun. Now to start off, the things I'm going to cover, we're going to look at positioning of vehicles, we're going to look at how to start the game from both sides, and we're also going to look at some really nice positions you can sit yourself in to kind of, not so much camp, but just to really hinder the enemy for the whole game and leave yourself as unexposed as possible. I would also like to say a massive thank you to John Cinematics, who created that introduction for this video. If you did enjoy that, go and check out his channel that will be in the description below. Big shout out to him as well. He's doing some fantastic work to do with cinematics with Battlefield, Battlefront and games like that. So to start things off, let's look at how to start the game from the US side in the attack boat. The best thing to do is get yourself onto Alpha as fast as possible and cap this flag. Now the reason I do this, and the reason I do this pretty much every time I'm on this side, is because that starts the ticket bleed a lot sooner, and this map being quite a difficult one to cap in vehicles with that Charlie flag, you have to get there as soon as possible. As you notice on this game so far, I have 4 people in the boat and no one else on our team has got to Alpha yet, so it's really important to get there first. Before I go on to what I do for the rest of the map, I'm going to have a quick look at my loadout for the boat. Now this is obviously for both sides, it makes no difference. I like to run with the burst cannon and TV missile. That is really all I run now with the attack boat. I don't feel the need to run any other combination other than that. The burst cannon gives you the best attack against air and ground vehicles. As you can see, I'm also running with active protection, thermal optics, and then this is where it gets a bit tricky with upgrades. At the minute I run with belt feeder because I feel that I need, with fast spawn servers and stuff, I need as much ammo as possible. However, I do feel that there is some sort of space for thermal camo possibly, and if you're on a map where maybe Lankang Dam or something, when you're going to be focusing on just one boat and possibly 3 or 4 air vehicles, having an air radar wouldn't be such a bad idea, although I really do think that belt feeder is probably the best one to go for. The next thing I do when I'm playing on this map and I've capped Alpha from the US side is obviously take out any vehicles that I see in the immediate vicinity, but then I push the Bravo because this flag can actually be capped by a boat. And as you can see, we're getting there again before even the LAV gets there, and we've already capped Alpha, so you can get there straight away and you can get there a lot faster than all the other vehicles. So here's a little graphic for how I start the map. US side, I cap Alpha and Bravo, and then it's the same for the Chinese side. I go for Echo first. Sometimes I go straight to Delta. I mean, it depends if your team's going to start capping that first flag, but getting those first 2 flags capped is really, really important. Now this is where it changes. I then come back to Alpha and start to attack Delta because I know that boat is going to be going to Delta. It's the first port of call if you're on that side. I bend the TV round, keeping myself. Also with the TV, what it does is it lets you sort of scout the area as you're firing it, and you can see where all the other vehicles are. So you notice I saw an AA, a boat and a heli, so I've backed off again because I simply don't have the ammo to deal with all of those. Get the heli taken out of the sky. Obviously having aim and stuff helps you with this process. If you don't and you're a bit shaky with your TV aim or something like that, just stay back a little bit longer, wait for the enemies to come to you, and then see we're already getting backed up here by an LAV, and you find the process a lot easier. We're already a couple of minutes into the game now, and I still haven't got my way to Delta, but it doesn't really matter because all I'm doing is keeping all the enemy vehicles at arm's length or back in their spawn. On Delta, it's also worth noting that they spawn off the burn a lot of the time up in that hill. So again, I'm using the boat for cover. I'm using these crates just to take away any angles the boat might have or the LAV might have on me, especially with the tow missiles and the TVs. I'm also reducing the risk of me getting locked by a helicopter or a jet. And it's a bit campy, but it is by far the best place that you can hide on this map. Something else to bear in mind on this map from both sides, there are several bridges that can sometimes be a bit tricky to actually navigate and get under because you think your boat's going to get caught on them, and it will do if you're driving at full speed, especially with the US boat. However, they are really, really useful for blocking locks and for protecting the infantry on the back of your boat. And this is sort of the last thing you should be doing, is trapping yourself under a bridge, because obviously you can get C4'd from above, you might get a little bit stuck under there, you can't turn around, but it's worth bearing in mind that they're sort of really good places you can go and just protect yourself if you're getting locked, or if you're getting, you're under a bit of pressure. As for the other side of the map, as we looked at before, I would cap Echo and Delta first, or Delta first, if your team's pushing quite well. From there on, I would then stay at Delta and wait for the enemy attack boat. If you stay at Delta, you have cover, and with an attack boat, The worst thing that you can have happen to you is you can get locked, hit, and then immobilized. You're a sitting duck in the water. You can't really repair, because the moment you jump out of your boat to repair, you're going to get, you know, your seat stolen by somebody else. There's always someone on your team who wants to steal a vehicle off you, so you really need to stay in that driver's seat. The best thing to do is stay at Delta and use your TVs or tow missiles to shoot things from a distance until you know exactly where the attack boat is. Then push him, take him down, and it's as simple as that. There's not really too much more you can do. From there, I would either go the other way around the map to Bravo, cap Bravo, and then push to Alpha, or I would again just sit at Delta and wait for the rest of your team to push up. It's a little bit more difficult, I think, from the Chinese side to get all the way up to Bravo and Alpha. As for the LAV on this map, there is usually one place where I spend the majority of my time if I'm in the LAV, and I've hit some pretty nice streaks on this map in the past. I usually sit on the far side of the map in between Bravo and Echo, on that road that goes around the outside. I sit there whether I'm on the US or the Chinese team. You can cap Bravo, you can push onto Echo if you need to. You can also drop back to Alpha if you're on the US side, if you really need to get back there because your team's let that go. And finally, for the AA gun, if you can manage to get hold of that for your team, use it as you would the LAV. So get it onto the outside of the map and just use it to completely demolish enemy infantry. AA guns on this game are so overpowered for taking down infantry, not to mention what you can do to air vehicles. So if you're running Zunis, you're running 30mm, then you're going to find yourself racking up some serious kill streaks with that AA gun. The worst thing you can do is let the enemy have it, because mark my words, they'll take it into their base and they will camp behind a hill. So if you can get that thing out and work in tandem with your LAV or even your boat, you're going to really wreck people on this map. Hopefully you found this guide useful. If you did, leave a like and leave in the comments what you'd like to see next from this guide series. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode.